On today's video, people stand up for France, people stand against France, Jihadis compete for Has Britain Got Talent, Toby Robinson makes an appearance, friendships are strained, Bob the Builder,
but if they continue, strike them.
Danny's in Speaker's Corner,
So that the government finally does the right thing and makes condoms mandatory. Please, can I get you to start moving down? It's all getting squashed in.
How's it going? So one day after Boris announced we are going into lockdown, he says 5th of November, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plots. Seems this day will be the day that we sell ourselves to the globalists, the New World Order, and take in supposedly 1 month of lockdown. 1 month of lockdown, they say. I'm going to guess it's going to go on longer. Remember they said 2 weeks back in March. How long did that last? 4.5 months. Anyway, I'm slightly sheltering out of the wind because over there is a freedom of speech gathering, but it's just the usual sort of people from Speaker's Corner and kids freedom of speech there. So I'm going to go check it out. I think the Metropolitan Police want to shut down any dissidents that are for freedom of speech and speaking out against the measures, but let's go see what happens.
Now, the last time I made a video from Speaker's Corner in London's Hyde Park, it was indirectly responsible for costing me dearly. If you're curious about what happened, see my cancelled video to understand what happened there. However, I live by the belief that free speech and the freedom to share ideas should be in every human being's right, no matter what country you live in. Now, it has long been assumed that since the 19th century, Speaker's Corner was a place one could speak freely and about anything. However, despite being frequented by Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin, George Orwell, and even George Galloway over the years, this sadly for Brits and visitors is not the home of free speech. Unlike our American cousins, the Brits do not have the First Amendment. Now, speakers here may talk on any subject as long as the police consider their speech as lawful. And like I say, contrary to popular belief, there is no immunity from the law, nor are any subjects proscribed, but in practice the police intervene only when they receive a complaint. On some occasions in the past they've intervened on the grounds of profanity, and sadly in the 2020s police now have a belief in the fakery of hate speech. However, that doesn't stop regulars and visitors frequenting Speaker's Corner every week of the year. Sunday is consistently the most popular day to visit.
Many of you men and many of you women are looking for a good man or a good woman so that you can have peace. But peace costs a lot.
Listen, you've got to be quite slow not to know if someone's coming there for a political agenda. That is completely different from knowing the gospel. He doesn't listen. If he wants to come in and listen to Hatun and find about the gospel, he'll say, I didn't realise that about this and blah, blah, blah. This is completely different. When you're coming out, listen, he's coming there for a platform. Oh, no, you don't believe it. I can't help it. I can't help it. We can't protect Christ. No man can protect Christ. Christ protects us.
Christianity, we are
Well,
Christians.
Christianity needs Tommy Robinson. I don't need Tommy Robinson to protect me. Tommy Robinson, when he come out of jail, complimented the imams. He complimented the imams. Tommy Robinson.
No, he said the truth. He said not one Christian priest came to see him, but an imam came to see. He only stated a fact. If you smile at me and nobody smiles at me, I'll say you smiled at me.
The world that he gave his one and only son. So ever believes in him.
Keep your distance.
Right, the other side of Chelsea.
You've been
Bye-bye.
Tell you what, I'll put it a little bit further.
The main reason a lot of people were in Speaker's Corner the day I decided to stroll down there, this is November the 1st by the way, was simply because they wanted to show their support for this lady, Hatun. the lady speaking on screen right now. Reason being, the previous week she had been violently attacked for voicing her opinion. The man has since been arrested, but this part of London should never feel intimidating for anyone, man or especially woman.
2017, Muhammad, as the followers of the Quran, as the followers of ideology of Islam. 2019, 3rd October, man is being killed again. 2000.
I don't have a shitty box where I will draw with a marker to get my sign. That's all I need. To get my message across. Very, very good messages. Very good messages. I wish you actually followed these messages. Especially with the fun girls. Well, I do. I'm not a big fan of communism. They're leaving my country and family. But that's still sick too. No. I've never supported communism. We're not unit.
Job well done!
Vive la France!
Job well done!
To
Hatun!
Vive la France!
We stand with hand! Down, down!
Vive la France! Vive la France!
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Down France!
No, Vive la France!
Do you think the guy who is a killer?
Do you think he's a killer?
Vive la France!
A million Algerians you killed, huh? What about the million Algerians you killed?
Beheaded. It's Job well done. There's a guy who beheaded.
Vive la France!
And he's coming here, he's saying, job well done, job well done. Yeah, because she's supposedly evil for, having a character. I wonder if he would say job well done to the teacher who got beheaded. Unbelievable, man. Job well done. And he leaves. I never said that. You fucking piece of shit. I never said that. I did not say that. Okay, I'll tell you what I said. This fucking guy is a traitor, he's a fake friend, and he's a liar. He's a fucking liar above all. Because look, I told him, I told this guy, this is what I told him. There were 5 guys in Ukraine, 5 black guys who were protesting BLM, who were BLM protesters.
So BLM
and they got
they support BLM.
And they got
They support
deported
their
from
brothers
Ukraine.
across the seas.
And they got deported from Ukraine because in Ukraine, Marxist and socialist movements are illegal. You cannot have a Marxist movement
Because
in
I
Ukraine.
belse in free speech. I believe that people have the right
You
to
believe in
protest
fucking
police
violence,
brutality.
man.
Can we just take it over and move it this way?
You believe in violence, man. You believe in violence. They saw what was going on in the US. They saw what was going on here. They did not want any of it. They did not want any of it. They didn't want. They deported them. And job well done. Finally somebody. Finally something I can be. What black people? What black people, man? Deport BLM supporters, whether they're black, white, or gray. Whether they're black, white, or gray. Deport commies. Deport commies, man. Get rid of the commies. Get rid of commies. Bro, it's the law in Ukraine. It is the law of Ukraine. The law in Ukraine is you do not have socialist parties. That's the law, and I'm very proud of it.
You're not a real
very proud of it. Bro, who are you? What are you?
I'm a real
Bro,
Tommy!
what are you
ISIS!
talking about?
Fuck communism! I don't stand for any of that
What are
shit!
you talking about? What are you talking about?
What is it? It's a temple of
Putin is a piece of shit, man. I hate Putin. Putin is a piece of shit. I'm Ukrainian. No, I'm not Russian. The guy who is saying job well done.
So it's getting a little bit tense here. There's a lot of groups of differing opinions. So far we've had people basically saying down with France, and then the intelligent counters saying Vive la France. It's unnecessary. People have lost their lives in France recently. A teacher was beheaded, and you have morons coming in basically saying job well done to terrorists. This is the state of England. Now, I'm all for free speech, but when you have individuals that are supporting terrorism down here, you can see why there's a lot of Metropolitan Police in the area.
Humility, right? It's just about, listen, When I was 17, 41 years ago, I was a Catholic all my life. I'm one of 10 children, James. Yeah. My parents had 5 boys, 5 girls. They wanted a cricket team. Actually, it was baseball. I'm from Florida.
Christians believe in a covenant system that has Old Covenant and New Covenant texts. So Mr. Brown has to show me in the New Testament something equivalent to what you are about to read. And this is what it says in the Quran, which is the equivalent of the New Testament to the Muslims. It says this: men are the protectors and maintainers of women because Allah has made one of them to excel the other. How does that make you feel, ladies? Allah has made the men to excel you. Now it goes on to say, and because they spend in support for them from their means, therefore the righteous women are devoutly obedient to Allah and their husbands, and guard in their husbands' absence what Allah orders them to guard. As to those women on whose part you see ill conduct, other translations have it, suspect ill conduct. It says, admonish them first, refuse to share their beds, but if they continue, strike them. Strike them. The word lightly does not appear in the Quran. The word miswak with a stick does not appear in the Quran. It simply says to beat your wives on the suspicion of ill conduct. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by contrast, and I'm landing so Mr. Brown can take over, we Christians believe that men and women are both made in the image of God. Each one of them equal in dignity. Men do not excel women and women do not excel men, but each, according to their own natures and abilities, are equal but different. Christian men, there is nothing in Scripture that permits us to beat our women or commands us to do so, but the Quran is giving a command. By contrast, we Christian men are commanded to love our wives as Christ loved the church, which means we are to give our lives in service to our women. So that is your choice. Do you want to follow the commands of Muhammad, or do you want to follow the teachings of the apostles? Over to you.
Right, so your reply then.
Right. Bob gave me a criteria which I would not follow because Bob believes in the old God of the Old Testament as well as the God of the New Testament. I believe they're all in one. So whatever the Old Testament says is still the same God and it's still valid. Right, and Bob wants to say the Quran says that how the Quran orders the legitimacy to beat women or your wives. It doesn't. It gives you a basically what Quran say. What Bob said. The Quran says that you can hit your wife, but then when you have to look at the context, and the context is what the Prophet said, how you should do it, how you should conduct it. And yes, when you go to the Hadith, you do find the word miswak, and miswak is the same size of a pencil. And then the Hadiths also say that you can't leave any bruises or marks on their faces. So, but
we have a perfect guidance to beating our wives. How do you feel, women?
notice this.
Practice freedom of speech towards you. Surah 98 verse 6. Indeed, they who disbelieve among the people of the scripture and the polytheists will be in hellfire, abiding eternally therein. They are the worst of creatures. So if you are not Muslim, if you are Christian or Jew, or a polytheist, you are identified as the worst of creatures. So think about the animals, which you think they don't look pretty.
Pigs and rats.
Pigs don't look very pretty. Rats don't look very pretty. Hyenas don't look very pretty. But what Allah is saying is to you, you as a human being, this lady, I don't even know her favorite color, but Allah identifies her as the first of creatures. All the creatures, she is the worst of them among them. All the creatures in
I was hoping Hatun would like the flowers as a mark of respect for our sister that stands firm every week.
Okay.
And receives hatred, and I thought it's time. She deserves a little love for the work that she does.
So no, it's a nice gesture.
As said in the card for Hatun.
Oh wow.
And
that's nice.
yeah, and do you want to read out what it says on the inside for his?
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you, Hatun, and your colleagues for defending Christianity and critiquing Islam. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow to become, in every respect, to the mature body of Him, who is the head that is Christ. Ephesians 4:15. That's nice. Sorry. Thank you.
Hang on, you take one on the outside in a moment.
What's on the outside?
As there is no racism from Hatun, and time to send a message of love, not hatred.
Yeah.
That's a good message, I like that. Yeah. Can you extend that to everybody as well?
Yes. Yes.
Can you extend that to Avi Yemeni's wife?
What? Send love and not hatred?
Yeah.
I don't know Avi Yemeni's wife.
Do you know Tommy Robinson's best mate is Avi Yemeni? Avi Yemeni's wife was a victim of abuse from Avi Yemeni. She had a chopping board thrown at her head, and
you obviously ain't fucking married.
Avi Yemeni pleaded guilty to that in court. Avi Yemeni pleaded guilty.
How is
to
that
in
relevant
court.
to today?
How's that relevant?
So where was Tommy? Where was Tommy?
The domestic abuse that happens in Australia is relevant to free speech and free speech.
Where was Tommy calling out his best mate Avi Yemeni for abusing his wife?
Do you call out all your mates when they have domestics?
Yes.
Yeah?
None have had a domestic.
So every time your mates have a domestic, you call them out for it?
I've never had that situation happen.
Or do you just let them get on with it in private?
I've never had that situation happen. But when my friends make mistakes, I call them out.
Okay. Can we count them on one hand?
Stays with him. Obviously, she's forgiven him.
She's not forgiven him.
They're together still.
She described it.
They're together still. Yeah.
She described it as she was a vehicle for his hatred.
Okay. So why are they still together?
Are they still together?
They're still together. Yeah.
Probably for money.
You apparently know her better than anyone, but they're still together.
I don't know her. No, I don't know her.
Apparently,
I know her as much as I know other people who.
But you know all about their marriage.
I know that.
Why is her marriage or their marriage any business of yours?
It's not. But
you just raised it in a non. He's giving flowers to a lady over here.
Tommy Robinson.
And you're talking about a marriage in Australia.
The only reason he's here today is for Tommy Robinson. It's not Hatun.
No, it's not.
He's got a chance to see his dear
He's here for Hatun.
The card is addressed.
I see the card, but
it's not addressed to Tommy
Do you think
Robinson.
all these people would have come to see Hatun if it wasn't for Tommy Robinson saying, "Hey, I'm coming to"?
Half the people here are regularly here.
Half the people here are regularly.
Got bashed last week.
No, I agree. No one should be getting punched ever. No one ever should be getting punched, especially women, especially in this place. No one ever.
So we agree on that.
No one.
Not even Nazis.
Not even Nazis should be getting.
Okay, we agree on that.
I don't.
So what about me? So when I go to the thing is, I get accused.
No, I don't know any.
When I go to far right protests, I get accused of being provocative. There's footage of me. There's footage of me having a debate with Kevin Carroll, Tommy Robinson's cousin, and then he walks off. I realise I'm up against a wall. All the Tommy Robinson fans start streaming past. I realise that if I start provoking or saying shit, it will escalate and I will probably get assaulted. So I ignored it. I kept my mouth shut because what I don't want to do is provoke people. So,
but hang on.
Hold on. It's all on camera. It's all on camera. People go to my channel.
This good man.
It's meat and drink for you. Provoking people is your reason for turning up.
Have I ever insulted you?
This good man was showing his.
Yeah, okay. I admit putting a camera in someone's face is slightly provocative, but that is what your figureheads do all the time. So that can't be something that you dislike me for. What do you mean where? Tommy Robinson goes and films people and puts his camera in people's faces, and no matter who they are, whether they're vulnerable or not, he picks out the vulnerable and he tries to make them look stupid. I don't do that. I only put people on my channel. I only put it usually pays off, but I don't play to the lowest denominator like that. I go for the figureheads, those people who are speaking and trying to influence crowds, and I try and make them look stupid. Because I don't want to pick on the vulnerable.
Isn't talking about someone's marriage.
The people who are following their leaders.
Isn't talking about someone's talking about someone's marriage, a couple that you don't actually know personally. Isn't that really low?
No.
The lowest denominator. You don't know them.
It points out Tommy's hypocrisy
when he
comes all the way out of hiding to Speaker's Corner when he's 5 months ago he was on Hatun's live stream saying how he gives them one to left. He's on a counter jihad and there just needs to be a reason for the British to rise up and fight back. And this is it. This is exactly what's happened. So he's Hatun, as free as she's allowed to do.
So if you
as free as she's allowed to do it, she has been provoking a reaction in this park in much more of a way than I ever provoke reactions at the far-right rallies.
Why should people react to freedom of speech?
If people are going to...
If they can't handle the truth, they shouldn't be here.
Exactly. I've already had someone try and swing a leg at me today for just having a camera, not even speaking. So these are the types of people that come here, violent people.
To be fair, it might have been your...
What?
It might have been your hat, to be honest.
Might have been my hat.
It might have been your accent, your schoolboy accent.
My schoolboy accent?
Private school.
Private school, okay, yeah. If you think my accent is a private school accent, then you are very sheltered, my friend.
You're definitely,
Okay, yeah.
Champagne socialist.
So I don't think bringing up someone's marriage is relevant to this conversation. I don't think it's relevant. It also means that you can't exclude if one of your friends has a domestic, that excludes you from talking out about other violence, does it?
No.
Because that's what you're suggesting.
Okay, so what Tommy didn't do was call out Avi in public.
It's not his business.
Like he's.
It's not his business. Just like it's not my business. It's not your business.
Last time,
it's a private relationship.
Last time Tommy Robinson was here, he came to read a neo-Nazi speech. A neo-Nazi called Martin Sellner. He read out his speech.
Yeah, I know.
So if you don't think that Tommy Robinson's far right and he should be unopposed, whether he's doing a good thing or not, it's fuck Tommy. I'm going to oppose him. Whether he's saying, hey, all the billionaires need to be.
Start close to the grooming gangs.
No, it wasn't.
So you're going to support the grooming gangs?
His main start was hooliganism.
No,
you know you're straying very close to Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah, and if Hitler came out and did a vegetarian march, I'm not going to be like, oh, let's go and support him. He's doing a good thing.
I know, that's the point.
Exactly, that is the point. Yeah. Yeah.
Why did he leave the EDL?
Yeah. Are you making my point for me?
No.
Yes.
Why did Tommy leave the EDL that he'd started? Why did he leave it?
Because it was racist and he couldn't make any more money out of it.
No, because
money had nothing to do with it. It's because it was racist.
It got
nothing to do with money.
So
because it was racist.
So do you know Quilliam, the report that you like to repeat so often, the 84% thing, that has been debunked?
By who?
What's her name? Dr. Ella Cockbain.
Yeah.
To the point where Quilliam changed the report themselves from a comprehensive study to just a study. So they even acknowledged their own duplicity in false information. Yeah.
I don't think you should really care about someone else's private marriage, especially if you don't know them.
No, yeah, I agree.
And it also means you can't. It doesn't stop someone speaking out about violence in the public space.
Okay, but do you not think it's pretty?
We should as individuals. I think we're on the same page on certain things. We should call out violence when we see it.
Do you? Okay, so
including violence towards you, violence towards women. We can look back at our kings and queens who had sex underage, and I can safely call them paedophiles.
You can look Okay, what about our John Peel, our radio DJ, who's dead now?
He was accused of paedophilia.
He wasn't accused. He married his girlfriend of 15 or 14 when he was like in his 20s, and they lived for a happily marriage. So was he only a paedophile for those 2 short years, or was he not a paedophile? And it just so happens that he fell in love with someone.
Well, no, he effectively was a paedophile at 20. Yes, he was a paedophile. I agree with you. And then he created and he committed paedophile acts earlier in his life.
He never broke the law at the time of his.
Well, he did, because the age of consent back then was 16, so he did break the law. No, he did. But the thing is, back then, lots things slide.
So, was his marriage, when they married underage, was their marriage ever kind of seen as like?
It was to some people, yes.
But not a law.
No, it was against the law, but it's amazing how the law looks the other way sometimes.
Exactly.
But we as individuals can call out the law for being corrupt. I'm happy to call out John Peel for committing paedophilia back then. I used to listen to him all the time. But I didn't know about that when I was listening with a schoolboy, listening to him, doing my homework. But knowing the facts now, just in the same way we used to all watch Jimmy Savile, we used to watch Raoul Parris. We know the facts and we can call them out. But we didn't know that when we used to watch him on television, did we? I wrote to Jimmy Savile as a child, going, "Dear Jimmy, can you please fix it to me?"
Lots of people did. Johnny Rotten.
But once
he spoke about it on TV.
Once you know the facts, you can call it out. We know the facts about Mohammed. We can call him out.
The facts about because there is disagreement. There is disagreement.
Well, the majority of Muslims will disagree with you because the majority of Muslims stand by Abu Bakri's.
You can't say the facts when there's disagreement between
the
Muslims.
Majority of the Islamic world suggests he met and married Aisha at the age of 6.
And do they use 6? So if you go to Islamic countries, you'll find that there's not even any Islamic country that has a age of consent below like fucking 18 almost. Like most of them are.
Saudi Arabia doesn't even have an age of consent.
Does it not?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have an
Saudi
age of
Arabia
consent.
can fuck themselves because they like.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's a lot of wrongness in the world. I think as individuals, especially in supposedly a free country, at least it used to be, we should be able to call it out. And I don't think, doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, you should be able to be getting offended for these people or these people. Just call it out.
Yeah. So where was Tommy calling it out when
about Abbey?
Yeah, call it out whenever it happens. Call it out from your own community. Where is Tommy when? Do you know how many?
Someone's private. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. But you know what? Why is he going to write an article about his mate?
Do you know
it doesn't make sense.
Okay. Do you know how much child sexual exploitation there is in the football coaching? Football coaches in all fucking clubs around the UK.
Probably too much. And I had heard
Tommy's own community where he's not calling it out and saying, "Hey, there's no one reporting on this, no coverage in the newspapers."
People reporting on it because we started hearing about it in the last couple of years. And you know what? If you actually
can you name anything where? Any cities?
Some of the I'm fully aware that many of the football clubs have been called out of it. I'm not a football fan, so I don't.
So you don't know that much, but you could name it.
No, I know.
How many towns
as a non-football fan, are
you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim fan?
No, I'm agnostic.
Okay, you're a Muslim fan.
Am I a Muslim fan?
Do you know where the grooming scandals are happening?
Human race.
Do you know where the grooming scandals are happening in the UK that are Islamic related?
I'm aware of many towns where there's
specifics?
Where there's rape gangs all over the country.
Any specifics?
Oxford, Rotherham, the list is Sheffield.
My trap. Like all the cities where Muslims
Oxford,
are
that well-known Islamified Oxford.
And
yet there's first one I said was Oxford. First one I said was Oxford.
Okay.
And yet there's grooming gangs in Oxford. Is Oxford a well-known Islamified city?
Do you want to hear my point? Because you're literally just falling into my trap.
Okay, let's fall into your trap.
You don't know any clubs about child sexual exploitation because no one's talking about it. But you know all the obscure towns.
Hang on, isn't it
where grooming's happening?
But isn't it shocking?
Where everybody's talking about it.
Do you think there are more child victims to football clubs than there are rape gangs?
I don't know. How many do you think there are in
Well, given that
football
there were
clubs?
1,400 in Rotherham alone, do
Yeah.
you think one football club could rape that many children?
Yeah.
Can you name one football club that's raped more than 1,400?
It was either Newcastle or
At
Sunderland.
1,400 at one time.
In one town,
Football club,
Newcastle
go on.
or Sunderland, there was over 1,000.
A football club.
Over 1,000.
So which club was it? Newcastle United?
Or Sunderland was one of them.
Was Sunderland United?
Yeah.
So are you talking about this in your public sphere, and are you making articles on this?
No.
Why not? Why are you not talking about this? You'd rather talk about Abiy Yemeni.
I'm anti-fascist. That's what I do.
You're anti-fascist, but so you're not anti-paedophiles.
I'm anti-paedophile, yes, but
you're not.
But
You're not willing to.
My show
but is
is
it
called.
not?
I talk about this
Oh, you have a show?
regularly.
Okay.
Yeah. My channel is called Fascist Beware. So although I've not made specific videos on that topic,
Yeah.
I do mention it. So I do
Right.
try and
So
talk about it.
Where do
So
we
then
find
other
your
people-
Fascist Beware show?
Fascist Beware? Just Google Fascist
Is
Beware.
it on YouTube? Is
Yeah,
it?
YouTube. Fascist
Okay. YouTube, Fascist Beware.
So I go into the psychology
Of what?
fascism, basically, the psychopathy of far-right politics, how we're being gaslit as a nation by Donald Trump and Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson.
Do you think they're fascists?
They use fascist ideology to their benefit.
Okay.
They're probably worse than fascists, I would say. Dominic
I
Cummings,
think
for
they
instance.
probably are.
Dominic Cummings, for instance, is a neo-reactionary.
Yeah.
So you'll see that my latest video.
So we're on the same page here. I don't rate any of these individuals we're talking about, but I don't think they're fascists.
Okay, do you rate Tommy?
I have a little bit of respect for him. Am I a fan? No. Do I have respect for him? Yes, for the fact that he's willing to stand out, call out things that clearly you're not willing to call out. Because I say, why are you not calling out the paedophiles in Newcastle that you know so much about? Why don't you talk about them on your show? But he's willing to talk about at least some topics. He can't talk about everything. But you know what? The BBC's not talking about it. Channel 4 News is not talking about it. ITV News is not talking about it. Sky News is not talking about it. But at least someone's out there talking about it.
Grooming gangs have been on the front page over and over and over and over and over again. So I don't think you can say that no one's talking about it.
But he's forced it to the front page.
No, he's not. He's not.
He has.
The victims.
He forced
people. Nazir Afzal and the victims. So a Muslim, Pakistani lawyer, practicing Muslim, has locked up dozens of these groomers. He also locked up the people who were abusing that homecoming march for our veterans. He locked them up for free speech issues when they were. I can't remember what they were saying, but he locked up Muslims for their speech, their hate speech. When Tommy's saying that no one ever got prosecuted for that. Nazir Afzal, a fucking practicing Muslim.
Do you think he should
lock up people for that? Tommy Robinson should be promoting these Muslims who are doing that, who are integrating, and stop knowing that he doesn't.
He does. He's promoted many people that have called out the communities.
Okay, so
he's promoted many of them.
What he should do,
and then basically he's accused of utilising these people for his own gain. He can't win. Yet he's an individual out there who's been persecuted more than anyone probably here.
Okay, so
by our incredibly unjust state. Do you think we live in a fair society right now?
No, but I've had my YouTube channel gone. I've had my Facebook, my whole Facebook life gone. For simply criticising Tommy. So it just so happens.
Well, I don't think that was the reason they shut you down.
It was.
I think it was probably something to do with your links to Antifa.
Huh?
Do you have links to Antifa, a terrorist organisation, Antifa? But you said you're anti-fascist.
I'm anti-fascist.
But Antifa generally claim to be anti-fascist.
Anti-fascist aren't a terrorist organisation.
Antifa are a terrorist organisation.
What's the organisation?
Well, this is the thing. Oh, we're not an organisation yet. You have a flag, you have a logo, you have a...
See that? Did you get that?
What are you gonna do?
Did you get that on camera?
What are you gonna do? You don't get shit on camera! Ever! You're an idiot! You're an idiot! Put your mask on! Put your mask on!
Okay, so this is Lister. He is a member of Antifa, I think. However, what impressed me was the fact that he was willing to have a civilized conversation. Yes, he was unfairly accosted by those women who clearly have been agitated by him before. I think that's unfortunate for both sides. If we're able to have a civil conversation, then there will be less agitation.
That's why I'm Antifa. Do you think that's fascism?
No, that is ignorance.
Exactly. No.
But this is fascism. Look. She was in the wrong.
Of course, yeah.
She's massively in the wrong.
Yeah,
but that's not fascism.
No, it is, because fascism plays to their tribal instincts. It's just a feeling of obscure desires. Like people play up. I know. Figureheads play up to that tribal.
Do you not think?
And it's a natural instinct to be fascist. People have to be reasoned out of it, but you can't reason yourself into fascism.
Yeah.
So that is fascism personified right there.
This is where it all gets a little bit kick off. There's a bit of a sort of a celebrity scrum in a way. Bit of raised tensions.
Because of the...
Jesus is Lord! Jesus! Jesus is Lord! Jesus will not compromise! We don't want no confrontation! We stand with Christ! Jesus!
Where are you, Simon?
Can I get this crowd to start moving down that way, please? Can I get you to start moving down? It's all getting squashed in. Yeah, please, yeah. Please start moving. Sir, start moving down there. I don't want to push you. Yeah, just try and get on the line there. On the, I'm stuck.
Sorry, officer. Got my thing caught.
I'm stuck. Look what you've got it done!
Did somebody say I'm sour?
I need to get out of it! Guys, you got to ease off a bit. You're all crowded in.
Jesus is Lord. Do you understand? Do not play with Christ. I know what you're doing.
Stop crowding in. Push back. Push back. You got to come back.
We've got to keep him in a circle. Get everyone else behind us.
So take a step back, eh?
ISIS, yeah? Tommy Robinson, you are a liar. I dare you to fake that. I dare you to
Hatun, stop hating me.
You sound like a dickhead. You sound like a dickhead. You sound like you come over here to call shit.
How did I push it? What did I say?
Call shit. I've protected the turn over debate. Why your turn? Then you come to debate. Why you turning?
Debate who speak fucking English. So who protected the Christians then? And what was it? What do you mean fuck off? So I protected the churches. What did you do?
Yeah,
What did you do for ISIS? Did you fight ISIS?
Yeah.
Did you fight ISIS?
Did you fight ISIS?
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you?
I did fucking fight ISIS.
Okay.
I fucked them up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what did you do?
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did fucking fuck them up. I protected the churches. What did you do, fight? What did you do against ISIS? You never done shit, bro. At least I fucking protected the churches, bro.
You ain't protecting shit, bro. You're just causing shit.
What do you mean? You're talking shit, bro.
You're talking a lot of shit, bro.
What? What did I say wrong? What did I say wrong? Now say it, innit? Come with an argument,
What's your argument? You've saved churches.
Yeah? So there's good people out there.
Well done. You saved churches. Well done.
So what? You're racist. You're a pussy.
I'm racist, yeah?
You're a pussy and your dad's a pedo. Suck your mum. Suck your mum. Suck your mum.
Suck your whole family, you dirty rat. You dirty rat cunt.
You're racist.
Yeah. And you're a little fat gutless cunt. That's what you are.
You're a racist, bro.
Disrespect, hate, suicide,
chance to debate.
Man's the one that protects the Christians.
Yeah.
You protect Christians?
Yeah, I protect Christians,
Wait. I fight terrorism. I fight against terrorism.
Did ya?
Yeah, every week I fight against them.
Yeah, you do, yeah? Yeah, why you come here to bullshit?
No,
Someone
I'm
who's doing
not.
the
I'm
same
saying
thing?
love and peace.
Right, we're doing the same thing. Why can't you wait till he, why can't you wait and then debate him? Why can't you wait? Why have you got to be shouting loads of shit?
No, but man was saying love and peace. I wasn't hating. Was I swearing though? I was sure. Man's against terrorism. I'm getting the hate from the fucking.
You're a disgrace, Tommy Robinson. You're a cokehead. You're a disgrace to Britain. You scumbag. You're a scumbag, Tommy Robinson. You shut up, man.
Shut up.
You're a dog, Tommy Robinson. You're an absolute disgrace, you cokehead. You cokehead crackhead. You little crackhead. Absolute joke. Absolute joke is saying violence every time.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we must fight so that the government finally does the right thing and makes condoms mandatory. The only way to sort out our problems is to stop having children. We need to stop this madness. If anybody here ever has the thought, I want to reproduce, you should immediately go to a psychotherapist.
You had two. You had two though.
Wanting to have a child is a form of narcissistic personality disorder and delusions of grandeur.
You've had two children.
Your parents did not think it through properly.
What's in your head?
Of course my parents didn't think it through properly. I'm the only person here, the only person who admits that the world is totally screwed and none of us should be here and we need to stop bringing in more victims into this insanity. I'm here.
Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump!
This is what I'm talking about. Why did these people, why did your parents have you, Why did your parents have you? Come on.
Because they didn't have a telly.
Because they didn't have a telly, exactly. Exactly. Which is why, this day and age, when condoms are available everywhere, your parents should have got themselves sorted out.
So should yours!
I know. I wish they would have, and then they wouldn't have to put up with people like you. Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's time to stop making the same mistakes our parents made and make sure that every man has access to ample condoms. I do have some condoms on me. I'm running out fast. They are available to all active heterosexual men. If you like playing Lucky Dip, play that one all day long. But don't play Lucky Dip with your children. Don't play Lucky Dip with your wife, creating a child that you don't know what they're going to be like. I mean, if you don't like me or you don't like what I'm saying, the only way to guarantee that your child won't end up like me is not having one, is by not having any children.
No, because my children won't need care in the community, which you obviously
Your
do.
children work in care in the community? Maybe I could get their number. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not a very popular idea, but it's a growing idea. And I am offering you, never mind Tommy flipping Robinson, I'm offering you a £100 cash prize for anybody that can give me a good reason why you should be reproducing. £100 cash prize.
For humanity.
What?
For humanity.
For humanity, okay. Hold on a second, hold on. Now look, guys. Obviously...
So we can evolve past the level of Homo sapiens.
Obviously, you know, you can't just come up with an answer and then say pay.
Are you taking the rules now, aren't you?
Why not? Firstly, I make the rules, I'm the speaker. Okay? If you don't like, if you don't,
So you reproduce.
One second. If you don't like my rules, go and play someone else's game. I am honestly telling you that if you convince me, and nobody has come.
Have you got any children?
Yes,
Have you got any children?
I'll come to that in a minute. I'll come to that in a minute.
What? How many children you got?
I have 3 children, and I will come.
With how many women? How many women?
One rule, not the exception. I will come.
Lead by example.
I've got children in a minute. But in the meantime, is anybody here?
You love your children.
Is anybody here? Hands up if you're definitely not going to have children. Hands up.
I have 3 with 3 different women.
Right, good. Oh, so you've already had 3 with 3 women. Right. How do you feel about that?
I want to make... What's your problem, buddy?
So the police just break this up using COVID measures, basically saying if you're gathering in groups of 6 or more, they can arrest you or fine you. So they're threatening people with extreme fines because effectively you can't avoid a group as long as, I don't know, the distance of avoiding a group. And you can see the police are about to move in, I think. Yeah, they're threatening with fines and stuff. Yeah.
Come on! Break to space!
Off to the right, yeah? Off to the right, off to the right, to the right. Right, right.
Set him on fire! No, because your pussy is on! Excuse me, I'm trying to leave. Get off me! What are you doing? I'm trying to leave! Let's go! You're out! COVID! Coronavirus! Get off my hand! Yeah? Listen to me. Don't touch me, please, yeah? Do not touch me. I'm not gonna fucking use it. Yeah? This is a free fucking fuck. I can stay where I like, yeah? You do a dispersal order. You do a dispersal order. I'm not doing no more than 6. So?
So a dispersal order has been put in place. The crowd are over there.
Freedom of speech. My ass.
Vive la France!
What's happened?
Go that way, Ginger. Go that way, go that way. Go that way, Ginger. Man aside, man aside. You're double standards, please, isn't you? Hey, what COVID?
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So it looks like Tommy Robinson's just been arrested. They looked for an opportunity, they isolated him, and then he's just been arrested. So the state will have another reason to spend millions on the prosecution of a person that has done no wrong. Tiered policing. An example of what's getting, this country's getting worse for its tiered policing.
That's it. That's what happens, isn't it?
Over there.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
There's basically a bit of a stampede going on now. The police running that way and going this way.
Please then, take the bed.
Let's go see what's happening. Let's go see what's happening because it looks like he's just been arrested. I think this is unjust. But what do we expect? This happens. This happens all the time. The Metropolitan Police has Cristinda Dick in charge, and she's a far left socialist. Anyone that basically stands against her and Sadiq's ideologies, they get arrested. And this is what's just happened. I think they're being bundled into this police van over here. Has he been arrested?
I think so, yeah.
Right, man. Here it comes, look. There's the wankers, look. You don't constables! No, I know. That was a stitch out, wasn't it?
Oh, massively. They had that planned.
Why has he been arrested, do you know?
No reason. He was just basically isolated and then...
You can never try and put fear in our hands. Your boy was arrested. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame on you, Tommy.
We'll all be all done. By the way, you need to go home.
Well, a man has turned up today to support a woman who was effectively assaulted last week. She was knocked out cold, she hit the pavement, she was unconscious, all because she dared to be critical of the religion of peace. And he's turned up today, was on his way home, but then the police surrounded him and bundled him into a police van. And Sadiq Khan is clearly ordered that. Cristinda Dick has clearly ordered that. There's tiered policing.
Go this way.
Yeah.
Is it dispersal order?
Well, it's not to go home. There's a breach of the public health regulations.
Yeah, you can all get fined or arrested.
Everybody realises the crime that's going on. It's time to go home. If you don't leave the park, you can be issued with a ticket. Okay?
Who was just arrested then?
I don't know. I wasn't there. No.
Well, there you go. I've just been recorded on camera by the policeman, so I think it's time for me to move along. Not much to... Last thing I want is a fine, and that's how they're winning. They're basically threatening us with these unacceptable fines. As of Thursday, the country goes into complete lockdown, and this authoritarian policing that is being brought in across all countries that are willing to accept loans from the IMF, are locking down, and we're losing, or incrementally losing our rights. We're creeping into this authoritarian regime. Now, there was a paper leaked by the UN, United Nations, that suggested all countries could clear their debts as long as we give up private ownership. We're moving, this is where they want us. They want people, they want to bankrupt the economy. They want people to become dependent on the state. They want people to have this universal income where if you are dependent on the state and you are in any way are dissident, and that's by speaking out against these dictators and these authoritarian measures, they will shut you down. They will shut down your bank accounts. They will shut down your ability to live, your ability to work. And this is the way we're moving. The parallels between A Brave New World and 1984, if you combine those two books, and I mean, it's scary. I think it's incredibly scary. Free speech does not exist in this country anymore. If you speak out against the government, you get shut down. If you make a video like this, you get demonetized. I'm just incredibly angry. I'm just angry that this is allowed to happen. Now they're threatening people with fines. Enjoy your channel, by the way. I do enjoy it. Are you planning to do any more COVID stuff?
I've got a lot of stuff that I haven't put out yet. I'm editing, just waiting to come out.
It takes time. Were you okay though? I missed, just as it all kicked off, they told you to move off?
Yeah, they told me to move. They did it because they...
Just saw Danny there. I don't know why I put my camera down. Danny's got the YouTube channel, the Social Experimentalist. Interesting channel. Some very interesting videos on that channel. Anyway, I think that's it for today. If you like what you saw, click subscribe. Obviously, some of the views in this video weren't my own. There's a lot of mixed views, and what you saw today were the people from all walks of life. That's the beautiful thing about Speaker's Corner. People from all walks of life, from a Jewish person to a Christian to a Muslim to an atheist to an agnostic to a Hindu to a Buddhist, you name it. They can be there, they can have a conversation, they can have an open discussion. And it works really well when people are peaceful, when people are violent free. But the reason there was such a crowd there today was because someone's speaking for Christianity and speaking out against the sort of violent teachings that she, in her mind, sees in the Quran. Meant she was knocked out last week. She was knocked out cold, and that's why there was a number of people there who basically standing next to her, making sure that she could be there safely. But instead, we had the Metropolitan Police, led by Crescinda Dick and Sadiq Khan, effectively shutting it down and threatening people with large fines in this authoritarian world that we're literally walking into, because Thursday, masks on, Thursday, lockdown all over the country, and it was expected. It was expected. This has been planned since 2019. This has been planned since we knew this was happening. We knew there was going to be a second lockdown, but they've conveniently blamed us, the people, saying, oh, it's your fault, and people are buying into this. This was always going to happen, and now it's happened. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Maybe the next video is going to be a travel video, maybe it's going to be slightly political, maybe it'll just be a place in London. Who knows? You won't know unless you click subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep progressing.